right, so first things first, I'm gonna get my cordless drill, take my Phillips tip bit out and take a bit that fits these drum heads. Start with this little guy. All right, now that we've taken the hardware off and the heads off, we need to find the seam on this wrap and begin to peel it back. Probably use a flat tip screwdriver. We got the glue in the seam where it overlaps attached or detached. Then we're gonna keep peeling and pulling. And if it damages the drum a little bit, we are gonna come back and sand this so there'll be no glue residue or not good looking pieces of wood. Pulls it pretty nicely. I'm sure you could maybe even use like a hair dryer to heat up this glue. There we go. Get it back. All right, that's that. We've successfully taken the wrap off the shell and it already looks, to me, 100 times better. We're gonna go back with some sandpaper and sand the glue because stain won't adhere to or through glue. So we're gonna do that next, as well as mess with this piece of hardware that didn't come off. All right, so now that I've given it a good sand, this is nice, and you want to rough up the surface a little bit so that the stain will adhere to it. It looks pretty good. When you're using stain, which I'm going to be using some semi-transparent espresso stain I'll be using. Remember, with stain, a little bit goes a long way. Get some gloves. Don't wear clothes that you care about because the stain gets on, is on there. Also, I put a drop cloth on my floor, a cloth up top, a piece of wood under this wood. You want to shake up your stain a little bit. Get it mixed well, and then you want to have a rag to wipe off once you apply the stain. Also, you don't want to get it on the inside of the shell. It's not going to affect the sound, but I think for best look, you want to just stain the outside. All right, never done this before. Let's apply stain. The longer you leave it on for, the darker it will be. For example, that's really dark. This is on the seam. So you want to go into that seam. All right, that looks really dark. As soon as I wipe it with the rag, it will get a lot lighter. That just gives it a nice espresso stain. Let's do the whole thing. Now that is pretty nice. It's not very dark, but I think it's appropriate. It's a little better, a little different. We can go ahead and, if we like, put some hardware back on and get this thing buttoned up to see how it looks. there you have it. This is how the drum finished up. It's not been tuned yet, but I think it looks a lot better than the wrap. Just to compare, here is the next size up tom that we will potentially do next. Wrap, will stain. Wrap is kind of plastic and cheap. This is a nice way you can take some sort of cheap Craigslist Facebook drum set and turn it into something that looks a little more high-end. That's with the stain and finish. From here, we'll go ahead and take the hardware off, the rest of the kit, all the hardware off, do all the sanding, and stain it all at once. This was kind of the experiment one. We'll see what the whole thing looks like. Stay tuned.